Welcome back, modelers. So, when we left off, I had been working on the saucer, but I hadn't worked on the interior bits much. I had kind of semi-completed them, but I hadn't really completed them. The arboretum is actually pretty well done. The shuttle bay, I had to glue down some people and do some odds and ends and shuttles and whatnot, so that I just completed. This is only dry fit right now, just to make sure everything looks okay. And I need to finish up the officer's lounge. Now, one of the things they include in the officer's lounge is a couple of decals that are supposed to go here of the warp nacelles, because this little room back here is supposed to mimic the officer's lounge from the movie, where they were looking out the window and you could see the nacelle out back. And I guess they're trying to make them look like screens or something. I don't know. In the movie they messed up and they were supposed to have done it out here, but it, kind of didn't work out that way. So what I've done is I've basically just painted the chairs up and done a real simple paint job on it. I think that's all I'm really going to do. I do think I'm going to paint up a couple people to put in here to, so when you look in there, there's something to look at. And I've decided on this build I'm going to put the decals on here just because, why not? It makes a little sense, but hey, why not? So, also, I wanted to give you a quick look at the shuttle bay all mocked up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up to the light here, and we will peek in, and there we go. So as you can see, I got all the little people in there. I got the shuttles mounted in there. The floor is nice and shiny. Everything looks good. Nothing will focus, but that's kind of how my eye works too. I can't ever focus really well in there. One of the things though, that's all you can see back there. So remember, don't spend all your time uber detailing the back when you can't even see it. I do have a couple of people on the back of the shuttle bay, way back there. Focus. It's not going to focus, but trust me, there are people back there on the back shelf. There we go. I got it. Aha, there's a couple of them. So you can see back there. You can't really see a whole lot. You can see the little cargo pods I put back there, and the turbo lifts should turn up okay. So, but that gives you an idea right there of what you can see. So detail all that, but nothing more. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this together, and then I'll fill all the seams. Now with the seams, what I use is Tulip to fill that in. Tulip does an incredibly good job of blocking light from wherever there's a glue joint or something. There's a lot of light that sneaks in right here and right down here on both sides and kind of up in the corners. So what I tend to do is just kind of run a bead of Tulip all the way down on the top, and anywhere that there's a seam, even along the bottom edge here. And let me tell you, boy, does that work. There's no muss, no fuss. Just run it down there and boom, done. So, and then I will put in the clear parts that go on the top here and here. Usually I give them a good sanding to diffuse them so that it lights up the shuttle bay a little bit better. But all you do for that is just, you either hit them with a little dull coat or you can sand them on the back side or whatever you want to do. But either one of those work really well. So anywho, I'll be back once I get this all done up, and I'll kind of show you the finished product, and then I'm going to go back to the saucer and do a little more work. I got the lower sensor dome and a few other odds and ends on it, so I'll be back. Okay, welcome back everyone. So I have completed the shuttle bay. I've only just dry fit the plastic parts. I've got to finish those up, but everything else is done. And as you can see, I glued everything together and then used Tulip on all of the seams, which completely blocked all the light. So as you look in, it really looks pretty good. So of course I can't focus on anything, but you get the idea. All of the light blocked areas where the places where you need to light block, rather, in the corners are completely light blocked from the Tulips. So that stuff works really good for that. Also got all the side windows to light up here with that photo etch bit, so that'll be pretty neat. So, and we got our people in there, we got our cargo pods in the back, and all that, and a couple shuttles. So So we're ready to move on to the next piece. So, and just as a reminder, here was the Arboretum right here with the people and that wonderful decal set from HDA Model Works. I really like that. It adds a lot of depth to it. And then I still need to finish up the Officer's Lounge, but we're getting a lot closer here. So then I can move back to the saucer and get it ready to button up. So I wanted to get this part done though, because I want to start the secondary hull here pretty quick. That's kind of the next big chunk, and I wanted to have this all ready to go in. I didn't want to have to sit there and mess with it and go, well, I got to finish the shuttle bay first, so or the Arboretum. But now they're both done, we can move along. So when I come back, I'm going to be probably going into the secondary hull, either that or finishing up the saucer. Haven't decided yet, but one of the two will be next. So sit tight, I'll be right back. Okay, here we are with the bottom piece of the secondary hull. There's a couple of issues with it. First off, since I'm going to do a 1701A, I picked the one with the grid lines. The kit comes with two of these bottom pieces. The 1701, you use the other one, which is completely smooth. There's no panel lines on the fantail. And on the 1701A, you use the one with the grid lines on it. So I picked that one. I've never built one with the grid lines, so something new. But anyway, the two pieces that kind of are a pain on this are, one is the photo etch for the windows. It's actually, there's been a couple of ways to do it which make it actually blend seamlessly in. It actually looks like part of the bottom piece, and I'm going to do that here. The other issue with this is this piece right here, because once this is on and you put the shuttle bay in, there's a nice big gap here if you actually use all the mounting points. So that's something that has plagued us for many, many years. And what I did on one of them, and one of these kits, and that I learned from Boyd, and I think I'm going to do it with this one too, is what we did was we attached all the sides and this piece here, and then cut this mount out here, and then from there you can feed the shuttle bay in through the front and attach it. And then we shaved off these two pins and this mount point here, so that you could basically just glue it straight and butt it right up against this piece here, so that gap is just gone. That's the cleanest way I've seen to do it. Once it's all in and it's all back together, what I did was I glued this piece back in. I used some strip styrene to build it back up, and I glued it to the other side and down here to add support. And then because the mount point is actually in this piece here, here's the hole that goes, where's the hole? There's the hole. That's the hole that goes down to the base. So what the practice that I've done before is, once you attach that here, I put a couple pieces of block styrene, pretty big. You can actually probably use like sprue or something, but I put a piece in here and glued it up and shored up this post, plastic post piece, because otherwise the whole thing tends to flex on the pole. So I didn't want that. But once you put that piece in, it really, really beefs up the whole thing, and we'll go through that when I get there. But in this case, I think what I'm going to do is actually cut this piece out, put on the sides and the outer pylons, and trim off the mounting pegs here, so that we can get a nice clean attachment of the shuttle bay in there and butt it up against this. So my next piece here will be to put in the photo etch windows into the lower piece here, and get them all puttied in and make them all pretty. And I'll also glue this piece in here so that we can get it to be part of the lower piece, and we can start getting this thing built up. So yes, we're starting to do main construction, hooray. But I'll be back in a few here. Actually, it'll be instant to you, but it'll be a few minutes for me with some of this done, and I'll kind of pause midway through so you can see the way that I do this. To describe it, what I do is I put a piece of masking tape over here. You set the photo etch windows in. You line them with CA glue to hold it in, and then from there you putty from the outside and sand it, and you can get them to look really good on doing that. So I'll kind of show halfway through it so that everyone can see, and we'll move along from there. So be back in a moment. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the Arboretum windows. You basically just put a big chunk of tape on the side, and then you can set your Arboretum window in there, and then just put a little CA glue around the edge, and then peel your tape away, and it'll be nice and flush with the outside. You just putty up the seams to make sure there's no holes or gaps or whatever, and sand it flush, and it'll look like it was part of the ship. That's what's really great. This photo etch set from Paragraphics is really excellent, so I've had very, very good luck with it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in, and I'll be right back with that. Okay, here's kind of what I'm talking about with the gap in the fantail. You can see right here, this is actually pretty snugged up there, and you can see there's a huge gap right here. In my very first refit, I actually put strip styrene in here and sanded it all down and repainted it and kind of blended it all in, but I ruined the stripe here, so I had to have Jerry at HTA Model Works actually make me another one, and then I stuck it in there. But I only got it in about halfway because everything was installed. There's no way to get in there, so I'd like to preserve this if at all possible this time. So I think I'm going to actually do that. Now remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can build it up however you want to do it. You can do it, the way that the instructions say. You can do it the other, this way, whichever way you want, whatever works for you. So the windows are installed. They're not puttied at all, but that's what you get once you tape them and glue them. You get a nice flush window there. So once I'm done puttying that and sanding it, it will look like it's part of it. And I actually installed the Arboretum, so you can kind of see what it'll look like in there when it's all done. So now remember, above the frame is going to be blocked by the rest of the secondary hull, so you're only going to see through the windows about like that. So, but that should be pretty neat once it's all done. So, and I think this is a pretty good place to wrap this one up, and in the next video we'll continue on the secondary hull and get more of this built up, and we will try to get it to come along a little bit further. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.